What in the world is Stephanie White doing? Seriously, someone needs to check on her because she looks completely lost.
Disrespectful what I saw and how it relates to her relationship with Caitlin Clark. The disrespect is out of this world. We all know this is a much anticipated season coming up. Okay, Caitlin Clark, the return of the GOAT in year 3, coming back to win the MVP and the WNBA title. Yes, that is what she is coming back to do.
She has the best player in women's basketball on her roster, and she's acting like she has no idea how to use her. This isn't just bad coaching, it's coaching malpractice. Let me take you back to what just happened. Caitlin Clark, fresh off dominating Team USA, coming back to the Fever with more momentum than any player in the league. She just silenced New Zealand in 18 minutes. She dropped 28 points, 9 assists, 4 steals, while coaches across the world watched in disbelief. And what does her own coach do when she returns? Benches her, limits her minutes, runs plays that isolate her away from the ball. It's like she's actively trying to figure out how to make the best player on the planet look average. And the disrespect, it's getting embarrassing, it's getting personal, and it's costing the Fever games they should be winning. Stephanie White has been treating Caitlin like she's just another rookie who needs to earn her stripes. The same coach who watched Caitlin drop 28 points in 18 minutes. For Team USA, the same coach who saw her dismantled New Zealand and silence every critic. The same coach who should be building the entire offense around her. Instead, what do we see night after night? Caitlin standing in the corner while lesser players run the show. Caitlin getting pulled from games when she's heating up. Caitlin being treated like a role player instead of the generational superstar she is. This isn't speculation. This is happening in real time. Games where she has the hot hand and gets benched for no reason. Quarters where she sits for 7 straight minutes while the offense stagnates. Play calls that ignore her while everyone in the arena knows where the ball should go, and now we find out that Kelsey Mitchell is gone. The Fever just let her walk. And for what? To make room for what exactly? Because right now, it looks like Stephanie White is making moves without any clear vision. She got rid of one of the most loyal, consistent players on the team. A player who could have thrived next to Caitlin. A player who actually understood how to play with her. A player who, despite being a veteran, never had an ego about sharing the spotlight. And now she's left with a roster that's supposed to be built around Caitlin Clark. But she has no clue how to use her. The chemistry is off. The rotations are messy. The players look confused. And the coach looks like she's running out of excuses. Let's be honest for a second. Kelsey Mitchell was never the problem. She was a scapegoat. She was the veteran who got sacrificed because the coach needed someone to blame when things weren't working. And now she's gone. And what's changed? Nothing. Caitlin is still getting benched. The offense still looks confused. The chemistry still looks off. The team is still underperforming relative to the talent on the roster. So who's next? Who's the next player Stephanie White will blame when things don't work? Because that's what desperate coaches do. They move pieces, they shuffle lineups, they point fingers, but the common denominator remains the same. The coach who can't figure out how to maximize the most talented player in the sport. This is what happens when a coach has no plan. You start moving pieces without knowing where they go. You start making emotional decisions instead of strategic ones. You start disrespecting your best player because you're too insecure to let her shine. And you end up with a fractured locker room, frustrated fans. And a superstar who's being held back. Stephanie White has been in Caitlin Clark's ear for months now. And from what we're hearing, it hasn't been encouraging. There have been moments where she's publicly downplayed Caitlin's impact. Moments where she's credited everyone else before acknowledging the obvious. Moments where she's made it clear that she wants Caitlin to fit into her system instead of building a system around Caitlin. And that's the fundamental problem right there. That's the disconnect that's destroying the Fever's potential. You don't take a generational talent and force them into a box. You don't limit the best player in the world to make everyone else feel comfortable. You don't treat Caitlin Clark like she's just another player when she's clearly not. You don't bench her because you're worried about load management when she's 24 years old and just proved she can dominate at the highest level with limited minutes. The Kelsey Mitchell decision was supposed to be about building around Caitlin. That was the narrative. Let Kelsey go, clear the path. Let Caitlin run everything. But now it looks like Stephanie White is just making moves without a clue. She got rid of a loyal veteran who could have been a perfect running mate. And for what? To give more minutes to players who aren't even close to Caitlin's level, to run an offense that still doesn't know where the ball belongs. This is ridiculous, and fans are starting to notice. Fever fans, basketball fans, even casual viewers who tune in to watch Caitlin, they're all asking the same question. Why is the coach holding her back? The Fever should be dominating. They have the best player in the league. They have a roster that, on paper, should compete with anyone. They have the momentum of a sold-out arena every night. But they're not dominating because the coach is stuck in her own head. Because she's more worried about proving her system works than letting Caitlin be Caitlin. Because she's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole instead of building the hole around the peg.
Now, it says, Stephanie White explains why South Carolina can't keep up with UConn. First of all, why the hell are you still talking about this college stuff? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you still talking? You went and did your gigs. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? You need to be focused on the Indiana Fever right now. You're more concerned with if South Carolina can have a competitive game with UConn. We don't have time for that. This is not the time for that, man. I think people are losing sight of what's important in this moment. And right now, nothing, absolutely nothing is more important than getting the proper pieces around Caitlin Clark so that we can have a successful season.
Here's the question Stephanie White needs to answer. What is your plan? Because right now, it looks like you have no idea what you're doing. You let Kelsey Mitchell go? You're mishandling Caitlin Clark. The team is underperforming. The rotations make no sense. And every night, the best player on the floor is being treated like she's just another option. The disrespect has to stop. Caitlin Clark has earned the right to be the centerpiece. She has earned the right to have an offense built around her. She has earned the right to play without being benched every time she starts cooking. She has earned the right to be treated like the franchise player she is. And if Stephanie White can't figure that out, then maybe she's not the right coach for this team. Maybe the Fever needs someone who understands that when you have a generational talent, you don't try to tame them, you unleash them. So here's what I want to know from you. In the comments, tell me, is Stephanie White the right coach for Caitlin Clark? Or is she holding her back? And was letting Kelsey Mitchell go the biggest mistake of this entire Fever era? I want to hear your take. Drop it in the comments. Let's get this conversation going. Hit that like button if you think Caitlin Clark should be the undisputed center of the Fever offense. And subscribe, because we're not stopping. Every time the Fever make a questionable move, every time the disrespect shows up, every time Stephanie White makes us scratch our heads, we'll be here breaking it down. Caitlin Clark deserves better. The Fever deserve better. The fans deserve better. And right now, the only person standing in the way is the coach, who should be building a dynasty around. The most exciting player the sport has ever seen,